Hello everyone, welcome back to another video with me. I'm Nikki and we're sewing things for your friends and family. So today we are going to make the fanny pack, a flat fanny pack, or I should say belt bag, something that you can do in 30 minutes, okay? All the information you need is down below, so let's just get started. Okay, so what we are going to do first is the outer pieces of the fabric, your outer pieces. Grab them and put on your interface. I already applied my interface just for saving time in the video, so do that to both sides of your outer fabric, okay? Take one of the outer pieces of the fabric and one of the inner pieces of the fabric. You want to put pretty side to pretty side, and we're going to prep for the zipper part. Okay, so what we want to do is go ahead and pin this together. I'm going to pin these just so that they don't shift and they're out of the way. This portion that we're going to work on the zipper part right here, that's on the outer pack. Did I say inner before? I don't know, but we're working on the outer zipper part, okay? Grab your ruler, okay? And what we want to do is 1 inch down from the top. I know it's a curved edge, but we're going to use the middle as our guide. Okay, so 1 inch down from the top. We're going to make a line. Oh, first let's do this to make it easier. Fold your material in half. Okay, my pin is right there, right in the middle, so I can't get down there. Okay, so we found the middle part. I'm gonna fold my zipper in half just so that I can find out where the middle part of my zipper is. And of course, I'm using the same color fusion pen. So in this case, I'm just going to pin this right here so that I know. Okay. And now what we want to do is figure out, so that's our middle part right there. What we want to do is figure out where the middle part of this zipper is so that we can apply it. And that's what we know right there. Okay. So we want to draw a line. I am using, a longer zipper than what I need to. Okay, you want to use anything that's, you know, about 9 inches or more so that you have a large access area into the pouch. Okay, and so the goal is whatever size zipper you're using, you want to make sure that you have even amount on both sides of the middle part. So I'm just using this number. It's just a random one in the middle of my ruler. Okay, I am lining up 1 inch from the top. And what I'm going to do, I want to measure, I'm going to put 1, 2, 3, 4.5 inches on one side. And that's my middle. I'm going 1, 2, 3, 4.5 on that side. Okay, that's what 1 inch from the top. And now what I want to do, so you see my zipper, I'm going to cut it. I don't want my zipper to extend the entire width of the fanny pack. Okay, so now what we want to do is I need to create the bottom part in order to be able to get that zipper in there. Okay, so at the 1/2 inch mark, okay, I'm going to put it here. So halfway, 1/2 inch, I'm going to make a line on the right side. I'm basically drawing a rectangle. Okay, 1/2 inch. And then what I'm going to do here, I have lined up my lines with my mark that I already had. I'm going to draw a line all the way across. Okay. And now I'm just going to eyeball this. Okay, and at this point, so I have my rectangle, and now I just want to find the middle of this rectangle. So I'm using my lines here, my 1/4 inch mark, lining it up with that bottom mark, with the bottom line, and I am drawing a line right in the middle so I know where the middle of this rectangle is. This line right here, that's where the zipper is going to sit. Some of you may have seen that in some of my other videos, or if you've watched other YouTube tutorials, it's the best way to do it in a zipper. I made some triangles right here because we want to be able to push this back when we cut it in order to, you know, lay the zipper in straight. Grab your seam ripper. Well, actually, before we do that, let's go ahead and we're going to sew around the, we're going to sew right on top of the line for the rectangle, not the middle. We're going to sew all the way around the rectangle. And I'm sewing on 2.5. When I'm sewing zippers, inner zippers, I like to have small stitching, small stitch lengths. I don't know, it just makes me feel like the stitches are closer together and it's less of a chance for them to get loose. Okay, be careful not to overshoot it. Sometimes I do that. Okay, and be sure to backstitch. Okay. All right, removing that. And y'all know I never use my cutter. I mean my automatic cutter on the machine. Okay, I'm going to use the seam ripper. I am just ripping a hole right in the middle. I'm going to cut down here, being careful just to stop at the tip of the triangle, and then I'm cutting the triangle out. I'm going to do the same thing to the other side. This is the area that our zipper is going to lay in. You could do like a triangle that's like 3/8 of an inch wide, but I prefer the 1/2 inch. You'll figure out based upon the size of the zippers that you use what's best. Taking out these pins now. I just wanted it to hold the fabric in place so that it didn't shift. Now what you want to do, go ahead. We want to tuck this lining fabric right inside of that hole. Right inside. Okay. All right. Yeah, the fanny pack is back, guys. I should say, so I've seen them online as belt bags. Okay, I'm rolling the seams so that I'm rolling the edges so that it makes a nice clean edge there. We're going to iron that. But what we want to do is ensure that we have a nice clean, you see that? Look how pretty that looks. A nice clean edge right there. You see? That's what we want to do. All right, grab your iron. All right. I'm going to flatten this out because ironing makes everything look good. Yes, it does. I hope with you guys learning that you're also ironing and top stitching. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull this out a little bit here so I can be sure to get all of the corners, all of the fabric rolled under. Flattening that part out. Some of my glue got there. I'm going to turn this around so that I can see from this way. All right. I'm going to pull this down a bit as there we go, as I fix the top. Beautiful. I like it. You can roll it if you need to, but the goal is not to see the lining fabric underneath. Okay, that seam that you created here, this is going to help you. It should be laying flat. Okay. I'm going to iron this. All right, that looks pretty. All right, now what I would like for you to do is grab some double-sided tape if you have double-sided tape. Double-sided tape, if you see me put on, I'm opening up a new pack, guys. Dollar Tree. So yeah, from the crafters corner, works the same as what's in the notion section. Okay, so what we're going to do at this time, we're going to prep for the prep for the zipper. I'm going to remove that pin that I originally had there. I just wanted that for my ruler so that I knew where I was placing the zipper. It's up in the middle of the zipper. Now, this double-sided tape, I love it. It keeps your zipper in place while you are sewing it, adhering it onto the fabric. Now, depending on what zippers you purchase, you may have more fabric on the outside of your zipper based upon the thickness of your zipper. So how you lay it inside of here, how you lay it is going to, be determined by the width of your zipper and how much fabric you like to see. Okay, so I'm going to I'll remove the top part right now. Oh, okay. And I'll do it this way so you guys can see it. It doesn't matter if your tape is even or not. Okay, at this point, what you want to do is make sure your zipper is pulled down. You know what? Before I do that, I'm just going to sew these together real quick. Just to base stitch them together. Squeeze them together. Oh, okay, hold on. Da-da-da. Okay, my thread came out. Put my finger there so I can see it. Okay, and yes, I know I have an automatic threader, but if you've been watching my videos, you know I don't use it. Okay, so I'm just basting this together so that it holds it. Sometimes I do that, sometimes I don't. Okay, so at this point, I'm going to lay my zipper lay my fabric right on top here. Okay. All right, placing it right on top. I want to see just a little bit of the fabric from the zipper, enough to show, I don't know. I just like to see a little bit of the color, but I just don't want to see too much of it. Okay, and now I'm going to do the bottom. So you can make your hole here a little smaller if you want to. Instead of the 1/2 inch, you can go 3/8 inch. Okay, that's totally up to you. Okay, so at this point, what you want to do, we have our tape on. We've basted that so it doesn't come apart. What you want to do is pull down that zipper. If you leave your zipper over here and start to sew, well, you don't have a usable zipper, right? So that would defeat the purpose of your project. So go ahead and pull your zipper down. Oh, that didn't sound, let me see. Okay, that's good. I was like, why did it sound like that? Okay. Hey guys, that's another thing. When you buy zippers in bulk, you just want to go through all of them and taking this off while I talk to you. Play with them, and just make sure that they unzip well, because some of them don't. Okay. Okay, so now that I've taken that off, move this up a tad bit. Okay. Now that I've taken that off, what I want to do is place my bottom piece of fabric, my bottom layer, right beneath the zipper, right beneath the teeth. Okay. And that looks good to me. Okay, I can see a tad bit of my fabric, but you know, hey, no one's perfect. I'm not a professional. It looks good to me. Let's see. Looks good to me. And we're ready to sew. So at this point, what we want to do is we want to sew right close to the edge all the way around this triangle, because we want to attach that zipper onto the fabric. Okay. All right, here we go. And I'm still sewing on 2.5. You know what? I'm gonna bump this up to 3.0. You can sew on whatever you would like. Okay. Okay, I'm going to just turn this so that I get the zipper out of my way. Look how I'm sewing close to the good, pretty folded seam. That's to hold the zipper in place. Okay. Turning. Okay, I was looking to make sure that I, didn't pass, and I didn't, so that's good. And now I'm sewing back across the bottom now. Underneath, if you need to, if you see that you can see a little bit of your lining on top, just go ahead and gently pull down your lining underneath. And what it will do is pull down the lining that you may see at the tip there. Okay. And again, I need to turn so I can move my zipper out the way. You want to make sure that you leave your needle down when you want to turn it. When you want to turn your fabric. That's pivoting, in case you're new and just watching the video. Okay, now back stitching. All right, make sure you're back stitching. You should always be back stitching when you are starting and stopping. Okay, that looks beautiful and I'm pleased with that. Okay, so I'm turning it over, and what we want to do is we want to get rid of this excess zipper. So cutting. Okay, and I'm going to cut this portion here as well. Okay, go ahead and put this to the side for a moment. Grab the other portion of your liner, okay, and we want pretty side. This is my pretty side. Okay, so the little piece of material that you have that's 8 inches by 4.5, go ahead and fold that in half. Looking for my pretty side. Okay, pretty side to pretty side, and you can pin it. And what we want to do is we want to sew 1, 2, 3. You're going to stop and leave this portion open so you can turn it right side out. Okay, so sew around 3 edges. And I'm going to be sewing at 1/4 inch seam allowance. What this is we are, I should have showed you guys that. Look, we are preparing these inner pocket piece, these inner card slots that we have here, perfect for not wanting to take a lot of things out with you. These are great card holder slots, okay, like for license and debit card or something. Okay, that's what we're preparing now. Okay, back at the beginning. Okay. We're going to go ahead and we're going to clip those edges because it reduces the bulk. Turn it right side out. We do not need that interfaced. I'm just gonna cut my string here. I just blew that on my video, on my girl here. If you guys only knew what my floor looked like every day when it needs to be swept. Okay. Okay, get your chopstick and poke those corners out, but don't poke too hard, because you do not want to make holes. I just tucked in that edge. I'm gonna iron this flat. Okay, I'm not worried. Right, we're not going to close up that hole right now. We don't need to. We're going to be sewing it, and we don't need to worry about taking an extra step when we don't have to. Okay, let's find the middle of this lining piece. Okay, so go ahead and close that, because we're going to adhere this little pocket piece, this little card slot piece, right in the middle of this. Okay, so at this point, this is what you should have. Make sure that the hole that you left is on one of the sides, either the left or the right. It doesn't matter. I'm gonna turn this around so you can just see it. So you want to make sure the hole, there's my hole right there, it can be on the left or the right. I'm going to fold this in half so that I know where the middle of my material is. That always helps. Okay, so now at this point, what I want to do is I want to make sure that from the bottom, I want to put this to be about 4 inches from the bottom. Let me see. Is that straight? I'm looking upside down. Okay. Yeah, that's fine. So it's about 2 inches from the top. So we want to go 2 inches from the top. I'm looking at it upside down now. So here's your top, 2 inches down. Okay. I'm going to poke that corner out, because that will drive me crazy. You know what? Let me just flip it around. These sides are poked out more. Okay, so, okay, I'm going 2 inches from the top. That looks good. Looks good. Let's pin this. Oh, I should pin it at the bottom. I just made it crooked. All right. Okay, so now what I want to do, add 1.5 inches from this line. Okay, so I'm going to mark my 1.5 inches is here. Okay, I want to draw a line. I'm working upside down, guys. All right, so I'm drawing a line there at 1.5 inches from the top. And then what I want to do is I want to draw a line 1/2 inch from this line. Let's see if I can do it without moving the pin. Nope. Oh. Pin it a little bit further down. Okay, so I want to go 1/2 inch from that line right there. Okay. That's good enough. Okay, so what we want to do is sew right across those 2 lines, both of them. And I'm going to do the bottom one. Just going to remove my pin. Beautiful. Perfect. All right. So now you should have something that looks like this. Grab your iron, and what I want you to do is just fold up. Okay, fold this little thing up. And I'm gonna iron this down. See, this just formed the pockets. That's glue. See, one of the things that would drive me crazy, see, I didn't poke out my corner enough, so look at that. I mean, that's okay. But the point is that it would drive me crazy. All right, so we're going to go ahead, and what we want to do is we want to stitch down 1/8 of an inch on both sides, the left and the right. All right. I'm going to start using, start right here at the bottom and stitch. Now, because of the space where the cards go, I'm putting just the extra, I'm back stitching there, just a little extra love, just to make sure that, you know, when the cards go in and out, that it has some extra stitching. A little extra stitching never hurt anybody. And now I'm going to the other side. Nice. Okay, so right now what we're going to do is let's go ahead and take the pretty side to the pretty side. Okay, you can cut off your stragglies if you have stragglies. All right, because you know you don't want to see them. Okay, so go ahead and pin just the lining portions. Okay, just the lining. You don't want to pin your outer portion to this because we're going to be sewing only the lining and we don't want it to be attached. So just leave a space there in order to flip this. Okay, now what I'm going to do, I'm lifting this, I'm going to fold this down, and I want to make sure that my raw edges meet my raw edges. I'm just flipping that down out of the way. Okay, all right, and I'm sewing at 1/4 of an inch seam allowance. Okay, so at this point now we want to get ready for the belt. Okay, just for a moment we're going to put this to the side with the other piece. Okay, and what we have to do at this point is prepare to put the belt so that we can sew it in between these pieces here, in between our outer pieces. Okay, so that's what we're going to do. Okay, so grab that female portion, and what we want to do is we want to put the webbing, we want to put the webbing from the top and have it go down underneath. Okay, and what I'm going to do, you can use fray, but what I'm going to do instead is I'm going to fold this under, okay, and so that it doesn't fray. When I sew this together, so it won't fray. Okay, and I'm just going to sew a rectangle right on top of here, and I'm just going to sew on 3.0, keeping in mind about back stitching. Look at that piece of thread. All right. Yeah, I prefer not to see colors on top of the belt. Something to keep in mind. So all I'm doing is I'm sewing a rectangle right on top. You could, if you wanted to, sew an X. I'm not going to do that right now. X, when you put X on top of anything webbing. It's just an extra measure to secure it. I am grabbing the longer piece. This should be, this is the part that we're going to put your male portion in. If you have a slider like this, you want to make sure that this hollow part is pointing down, okay? It took me a while to figure these things out, so I'm trying to help you guys. Okay, yeah, hollow piece we want to put down, okay? And here's what we want to do. We want to go up and over. So I'm going here, the first slot, up and down. That's up and over, okay? And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull this so that it is underneath. What we're doing is making that adjustable belt, okay? Pull it a little more. It doesn't matter, but okay. So now this is facing this way. The hollow part is down, okay? And just gonna move this top one out the way, okay? We have the bottom portion here, and we want to put the slider on, okay? We want to do the same thing that we've done. We want to go up and over. So up and over, okay? Up and over. This is the portion that we want to put into the belt, into the fabric for the fanny pack. So we're going to leave that alone, okay? We're going to go over to this portion right here. I'm just going to clip this because, again, you know, they fray. We're going to stick this through the slider, and when we stick it through, make sure that it's straight. And all we want to do with this is we want to fold up. We want to just prepare this so that I'm gonna fold mine twice, okay? We just want to prepare it so that it doesn't get pulled back through the slider when it's used around the waist. So the reason that we're going to sew this is because we need to make it thicker so that it doesn't go through that slider. So let's go ahead and prepare this, okay? And I'm going to do another rectangle. Doing these adjustable belts, they always have me like, they always get me on my toes. All right. And again, I'm just back stitching, putting extra stitches. Now you can't really see what you're doing at this point if you're using the same color thread. So that's what makes this pretty funny. Okay, this is the male and female portion that we're connecting. This portion is going into the fanny pack. This portion is going into the fanny pack. And when you want it to become adjustable to make it larger or smaller, you just pull the bottom and, you know, adjust it according to whatever measurement you need. Okay, but notice that it isn't going through because we sewed this portion thick enough where it doesn't go through the slider. Okay, so grab the outer and inner portion, the outer fabrics, okay, and we're going to connect these right now. I'm going to fold this over so that it fits inside of here. And what we want to do is prepare this so that your webbing, your strap, lies right in between these portions there, okay? And I'm going to layer this piece here. I was going to use clips, but I'm going to pin here. I'm going to do the same thing on the other side, just so that I make sure that that these don't move. I'm just going to stick a pin, not a pin, I'm going to stick clips there to make it a little bit easier in order to keep them together. All right. Now I'm not pinning, I'm not pinning the strap to the lining portion. Okay, so you see that's down. All right. I don't want to remove that pin from the front because inside on the belt, because it's more important to me that it holds the belt straight than the number of pins that I put in. So I'm going to put pins all around, and just to make it easier for when I need to remove them sewing, I'm putting them up and down as opposed to putting them horizontal. I am just pinning the outer portions, not the lining that's there. Okay, going to pin here, and you can do this all the way around. Going to pin here now. Okay, now at the top. And again, you are not attaching that inner lining at all. All right, and last but not least, okay, so at this point we are going to sew all the way around, all these sides, everything. We're going to do not leave any spaces open, sew around the entire thing. When you get to this portion here, what we want to do is you want to back stitch, okay, so that you leave you want to back stitch over it a few times so that you give it a little bit of extra support because you know, belts you pull. Okay, so I'm just going to start at my corner and I'm going to go all the way around. Okay, be sure when you sew that you push down the fabric and you move it out of the way, your inner lining, and be careful not to pin yourself, not to clip and not to stick yourself. At this point, what I want to do is I want to give a little bit of extra love to this. So on the inside of that seam, I'm going to put an extra stitch on the webbing. And again, no one is seeing inside of this, but it's for you to know that you gave it a little extra love. These are stress points. If you sew bags at the straps, you know that you always want to give a little bit of extra stitching on the straps. And so this is what's going to be pulled because it's being, you know, pulled around the waist. Let's snip around the edges. Forgot to tell you that. And at this point, you might want to change back to your thread if you are using something different the way I did, because I realized that I was still sewing on the black from the belt. Okay, all right. The reason we want to snip these corners is because we don't want bulk when we snip the corners. Okay, so snipping around the curves helps so that when we iron down that material, it lies flat. Okay, now we're going to stick our hand in here and we're going to push out. I'm just feeling something. We're going to push out the fabric and turn it right side out. So at this point, all I'm doing with my fingers is I'm making sure that those seams inside are flat. Okay, And I am just using my fingers to kind of like poke out that area. All right. We want to pull out that lining, and we want to close up the lining at this point. So you're going to fold it under. Fold it under. All right, there we go. And go ahead and sew it up the way that you would anything else. I'm just going to top stitch about 1/8 of an inch. Okay. All right. Closing this as I go around the curve. This is why you want to make sure that you switch back, to the original color you were using. All right, if you have stragglies, go ahead and cut them. All right. Sticking that lining inside. There's the actual card slot, the card piece inside. But now what we want to do, we're not done yet. What we want to do is we just want to put some extra love on the ends of these. Just, you know, put a strap, not a strap, put some stitches on the outside, just because, again, it's a stress point. Okay, and what we want to do is we want to help it out. Okay, so let's see, about 1 inch. Yes, about 1 inch is good. Okay, I'm going to draw a line here because I don't sew straight lines if I don't draw it out. Not kidding. Okay. Sewing at the inch will be right on the edge of the where I left in the strap. Okay, and it also gives it a nice look inside. I just want to make sure that my inside is tucked in here before I sew that part. Okay, make sure your inside is laying flat. Okay, before you add on the extra stitching. So I'm 1 inch from here, 1 inch from the edge there, and I'm going to mark here. All right. That corner I want to poke out. It's bugging me. Okay, there. Okay, at this point, I'm just going to close this and I'm going to put the top stitch on. Make sure you take your time and do this neatly because obviously it's right on the top. Okay, now this is purely optional, you know, I would say, but you know, I think that when you're putting stuff inside of a pouch and you're going to, you know, be clipping and unclipping at stress points, I do think that, you know, you don't lose anything by taking a moment for the extra stitching. So go ahead and position this underneath and do the other one. Okay, I cannot eyeball I cannot eyeball doing a 1 inch line. Okay, and of course what we want to do is you want to make sure that you're ironing it. Okay, we're all done here. Okay, I'm looking at the bottom portion, and this is where you can make it adjustable if you would like. Pull the strap, you see, and it just goes right around the waist. Okay, I'm not going to I'll do it just so you can see it looks, you know, nice and finished. So I see stragglies on the bottom. I'll take care of that. That's it. You've just made a fanny pack, a belt bag. That's all for now. If you have questions, go ahead, put them down below. And I hope you have fun making this project because you can customize it. Okay, so I will see you guys back here for the next video. Bye.